everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make egg tarts. Well, technically those tart shells, they were store-bought, so I'm not going to make that. I think they're available on Amazon or like Asian grocery stores. First of all, I'm going to show you what I will need for the tart filling, or some people call it. It's similar to an egg custard, but not exactly. So we will need some eggs. I think the recipe that I'm going to use calls for 1 whole egg and 1 egg yolk. So I'm probably going to, and then the recipe makes about a dozen. Like, I guess depends on how big your tart shell is. It makes about between 10 to 12. So you will need some heavy whipping cream, some milk, eggs, sugar, and I think that's all the ingredients that you need. But here are some of the tools you will need. I have a strainer here and 2 mixing bowls, a whisk, a measuring cup for liquids, and a measuring cup for dry ingredients, which we're going to use it for sugar. I have 2 bowls here. One is for the whole egg, the other one is for the egg white that we don't need. And I have a pair of chopsticks because I prefer to whisk my eggs with chopsticks instead of the whisk. By the way, this was a wedding gift that a friend gave to us, and I really love it. I don't remember which brand it was, but it's really fine. This is also it's a set of 5. They're stackable, and these are also like wedding gifts that I really love. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. So first we will need 1/2 cup of milk for to make 10 to 12. Since I'm going to double the recipe, I'm going to pour 1 cup. Okay, I think that's 1 cup. Okay, so we're going to pour it into this mixing bowl. Then secondly, we're going to add 1/4 cup of sugar. This is the 4th cup for one recipe. For 10, since we're going to double it, I'm going to put another 1/4 cup. And then you whisk so the sugar is, make sure the sugar is all melted in the milk. I think it feels pretty well mixed now. And next, we're going to need some heavy whipping cream. The recipe calls for 3/4 cup. Since I'm doubling the recipe, that will be 1.5 cup. So let's see. Okay. Now, the next step is we're going to need 1 full egg and 1 egg yolk. So I'm going to have this bowl. I need to separate the egg white, and seems like it doesn't want to separate it, but we're getting there. Okay, and then I'm doubling the recipe, so I need another 4 egg, whole egg I guess, and another egg yolk. Here we go. Okay, we can move the eggs away. So next we're going to break the eggs. I'm going to use my chopsticks, and if you don't have chopsticks, obviously you can use a whisk, but to me chopsticks works much better. Don't overbeat the eggs. Just make sure the egg yolk and egg white mix well. Okay, I think it's well enough. We actually don't need the egg white, so I'm going to put it away. Then, okay, now we're going to pour the egg into the milk and sugar mix. Just make sure they mix well. Okay, I think that they look okay now. Now it's time to pour the heavy whipping cream that we measured out. I usually like to run it through the bowl that I had the eggs, so I can get any of the mixture out. Yeah. And then you just mix everything well. Okay. Since we have quite a bit heavy whipping cream here, I'm going to run So if you can take a look, that's all mixed well. Now the final step is to use the strainer and to strain it for about 2 times. To the final step of this. The purpose of doing this is so the egg white, it's kind of like it's to make the texture more smooth. If you can see all these, that's where we want to strain it off. That's why you need a finer strainer. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. So one thing I really like about these bowls, they have the, it's easy to pour things if you need to. And now you have, it's ready to be put into the oven. We'll show you the next step. Now we are ready to bake. I like to use some either parchment paper, wax paper, or foil. So if the filling does come out, and it's much easier to clean. So we will need to bake it for at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. But I usually adjust my temperature, depends on how many egg tarts that I'm making. If I'm only just making like a 10 to 12, I usually use 400. But if I'm making more than that, you know, like now I'm making 24, which I doubled the recipe, I usually would do 410 or 415. So I'm going to do 410, and at the same time I'm going to put those at the frozen shells. So I'm just going to, you can see they have already holes over here, so you don't have to poke holes. And I'm just going to put those into the oven. We have to squeeze them in a little bit. Okay, I think it's plenty of room. Maybe I should move over here. So now I'm going to put them into the oven, where the oven is getting to 410. And I put the mixture in the fridge now, but technically you don't have to wait. You can just, after you mix everything up, you can start to bake. But I like to put the shells where the oven is preheating, and then after that then I pour the mixing into the tart shells. Now let's check the tart shells. See, they are getting puffier. So I am going to take one out, and we're going to pour the, look how fluffy they are. So now it's hot, so make sure you use your oven mittens. So now it's 410. That one is a little bit too full. That's why it's important to have the parchment paper or foil. That way if it overflows, then the messiness is more easier to clean. Okay, so now we're going to put this into the oven as well. We're going to check them probably at 17 minutes from now. Okay, it's been about 12 minutes now. So they look like they are a little bit like getting ready. So I'm actually going to turn the temperature down to 400 degrees. Let's take a look. And they look like they're all turning brown. So I'm going to turn off the oven. But then I'm going to move the egg tarts to the lower rack and just leave them in the oven for a little bit longer, so then they can get more kind of like a brown on the top. And we are done. Okay guys, so here is the final egg tarts update. Looks like they are all done. This is why we need to put some parchment paper or foil. Either way will work. That way, you know, it's not so messy. Then you can just toss this parchment paper. But that happens. I think some of those I feel a little bit too full. These look pretty good. So I hope you give it a try. It's really good. The crust is really flaky and not too sweet. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.